And with that, I think we're ready to start with our opening statement. So, Mr. Belanger, you have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, Shrewsbury Democratic Town Committee, for holding this night. I think it's important that we share our views and we answer questions in each and every community in the district. My name is Doug Belanger. I'm the Chairman of the Board of Selectmen in Worcester. I've been a selectman for 12 years. I served on our town's Finance Committee for 10 years, 9 as chair, and 3 years on the town's Personnel Board. And in a minute, I won't be able to tell you all my community service because my dad brought us up starting in Boy Scouts to become a Boy Scout leader, starting as a Little League player and becoming a Little League president. So there's a lot of issues, and I'd urge everybody, a lot of items I could bring up. I'd urge everybody to check our website for my not only extensive but very rounded resume of community service and business experience. And that's www.belangerforsenate.com. Or you can call 797-DOUG. 508-797-DOUG is our phone number in the office. Thank you.
Michael Moore. I'm an Assistant Deputy Superintendent of the Sheriff's Office. I'm currently a selectman in the town of Millbury for the last 8 years. And I previously worked for the State Department of Police for 18 years out of the Attorney General's office. I investigated environmental crimes. I consider public service not so much a job as a responsibility. I'm very passionate about it, I enjoy it, and I'm committed to it. There's a sacred trust, a special trust that develops between elected officials and the people that they represent. I believe I have the experience and the energy to uphold this trust. I've lived in the district my entire life. I'm raising my family in this district. I know the pressures we all face on a day-to-day basis. I believe I have the experience and the knowledge to address those challenges and issues and be an effective voice for our second district and Beacon Hill. Thank you. Not familiar with justice law, so I can't really answer that question. Not familiar with justice law, so I can't really answer that question. Not familiar with justice law, so I can't really answer that question.
And Michael Moore likes to talk about some 25 years of experience that he has in law enforcement. He is also married to an assistant district attorney. 25 years law enforcement, wife is an assistant DA, and he's never heard of Jessica's Law.
I'm not familiar with justice law, so I can't really answer that question. I'm not familiar with justice law, so I can't really answer that question. I'm not familiar with justice law, so I can't really answer that question.
Mike Moore is clueless on Jessica's Law. So then what hope does Mr. Moore's candidacy offer supporters of the Molly Bish Foundation, battered, raped, abducted, murdered children and their families?
I know the issues that I want to represent. I know the issues that I want to represent. I know the issues that I want to represent. I don't come up here making claims that I don't, that I can't substantiate. I don't come up here making claims that I don't, that I can't substantiate. I don't come up here making claims that I don't, that I can't substantiate. But I will say this. I work hard. I have integrity. I know the issues that I want to represent. I've got 25 years of public experience, which I'm very proud of, even if I don't have any experience in the private sector. I've risked my life. I've risked my life. I've risked my life. I've donated my community. I've given to my community, to the public, and I'm very proud of that. I'm proud of the service to the state, to the Commonwealth, and to the people of the 2nd Worcester District as of this point. I would love to continue to work on your behalf. I will be a vocal advocate for you. I will fight for you on issues that are important to all of us, and I will make a difference. Thank you.
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 There you saw Mike Moore very nervous, knowing that he failed miserably in this debate, could not look the taxpayers in the eye.
I'm not familiar with justice law, so I can't really answer that question.
I believe that Representative Polito's version of Jessica's Law was actually going in the right direction, and that is, and that's not often that you will hear me say that about, although a very nice woman and from Shrewsbury, I know, but a Republican nonetheless. But it is a point where I do think we should work together with Democrats and Republicans in advancing protection for our children. there was some discussion in where it changes from the deterrent versus enforcement in the negotiations through the district attorney's office on settling versus bringing a child to court. And I think that's an argument that's worth discussing and having. But whether it is, again, Melody's law and Jessica's law both have to do with protecting our children, and that sure should be, or initially should be, a no-brainer. But it does get in depth on the discussions. And so I think that we're on the right track. I think we're making progress. I'd like to hear, and I was not privy to those actual hearings, I'd like to hear any negatives.
We'll start with Mr. Belanger. During his campaign for governor, Deval Patrick discussed how the financial difficulties of towns in the Commonwealth have led to corrosive conversations between groups of people. As a state senator, what would you do to restore the financial health of our communities and help end these corrosive conversations?
Thank you. I've lobbied on behalf of the governor's package to close corporate loopholes. I've testified at the State House. I've lobbied the halls, the senators and state representatives, because the first and foremost is we have to get more direct local aid into the communities. One of the things I would do as a new senator would be to start building the coalitions as I have in my own community, where we work with our school department, with our town departments, together collectively, as opposed to what we all see too often in our communities, and that's the divisiveness. We're fighting each other because of the limited pie. We've been able to do that to balance. The entire time I've been a selectman, we have not looked at a Proposition 2.5 override, yet we've been able to balance our budget, give appropriate raises to our employees, and answer our collective bargaining agreements, living within the budget because we planned long term. We started, while I was finance chairman, prior to being a selectman, we started by taking stabilization funds, and when times were good, we took the first 5 to 10% and put it away. We required, and we're the first town in Massachusetts to do this, we passed state legislation, and I testified and wrote the legislation with one other selectman to have state law changed to allow the town of Worcester to have a 9/10 vote to spend stabilization. What that did is it limited the attack for any one group, but made all of us, forced all of us, quite frankly, to work together, because otherwise 1/10 could shoot down anybody. So we use stabilization cautiously because we have to go in collectively. That's what coalition building is all about. That is the beginning of getting more cities and towns, town departments to work together by actually showing that it is not us versus the state. It is us collectively working together. And that's the kind of experience and leadership that I don't just have on brochures, that I've actually done and led. And I think it's important to do at the state level. Thank you.
Mr. Moore?
One, I would support the municipal tax relief package that the government proposed last year. It gave communities the opportunity to gain some self-control. It allowed them to, if they wanted to establish a tax or some sort of fee in the community, it gave them the resources to do it. In Millbury, we didn't have the need for that. We've averaged $1 million to $2 million in free cash every year. I think the important issue that you have to do, or we would have to do, is work with business. You've got to get the administration and the leaders of the business community together to find ways to increase economic development. We can't keep taxing. We've got to find ways to generate new revenues. One, I would support the municipal tax relief package that the government proposed last year. It gave communities the opportunity to establish a tax or some sort of fee in the community. We can't keep taxing. We can't keep taxing. One, I would support the municipal tax relief package that the government proposed last year. It gave communities the opportunity to establish a tax or some sort of fee in the community. We can't keep taxing. We can't keep taxing. One, I would support the municipal tax relief package that the government proposed last year. It gave communities the opportunity to establish a tax or some sort of fee in the community.